So before we get started, I wanted to... I normally come up with an anecdote thing or share an idea, but because we're doing so many new things for the first time in this episode, including having 4 people on.
Yeah, this is the most populous episode of DeRazzled yet. So.
Now, Rob has an excuse. He's a specialist, but Vince has not earned his place here. So I've compiled four questions. 4 multiple choice questions, and you just have to get one. The bar is really low.
If I don't get any, do I have to leave?
Yeah, you have to leave. Just right away. All right, you ready? Yeah, there's a theme. You'll have to see if you can pick it up. Which of these actors has not shown their butthole in a film?
Oh, it's a multiple choice.
Yeah. Holly Hunter, Melanie Griffith, Charlotte Gainsbourg, or Laura Dern?
Laura Dern.
That's correct.
Nice. I
Hey,
get
say.
The bar has been passed.
due to my extensive movie butthole knowledge.
God, I ruined my search history. Just
You're on more lists now.
I mean, when we get to my research section, so did I.
Right. Question number 2. In their book, Superheroes, what masked vigilantes, miraculous mutants, and a sun god from Smallville can teach us about being human? Who does Grant Morrison name as not needing a butthole? The Incredible Hulk, Wolverine, Superman, or Aquaman?
I'm going to say Wolverine.
That's incorrect. Superman.
Smallville was the hint within the question.
That was just the name of the title. No, he definitely talks about all of the heroes, but specifically he says Superman, he gets he consumes the sun. He gets his energy from the sun. So if you don't need to poop sun.
See, I was just thinking because of Wolverine's regeneration abilities, any injury caused by the toxic, the sepsis that would set in from not having a butthole, he'd be fine.
He chooses to poop.
He willfully poops to fit in.
Right. Last question. In 2015, a product designed to hide your cat's butthole went viral. Though still debated as whether it was made in earnest or as a gag, what was the name of this cat butt jewelry?
I remember this.
Bumbling, as in bum, bling, Twinkle Tush, No More Mr. Brown Eye, or Kitty Glitter?
D. I'm going to go with the last one.
No, that was one I came up with.
That's
pretty
good.
happy with it, yeah.
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 Did you come up with 3 of them? Because they were all fairly convincing.
Bumbling was mine, and Kitty Glitter was mine. The correct answer is Twinkle Tush. And No More Mr. Brown Eye,
which is the best of them.
Which is the best of them, is to cover up animal buttholes, but not specifically cats.
Wait, that one's actually a product?
Yeah, it was on Etsy.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
I
suddenly miss Regretsy all over again.
Oh, good.
God damn it.
Fantastic. A round of applause for Vince. He gets to stay.
Thank you. I am really sad to be here.
Fantastic. Let's get started. Welcome to DeRazzled, the podcast that takes award-winning worst films and fixes them. I'm host Jack Culbertson, and here to suffer alongside me, as always, is also host Joe Nealis.
That's me. I'm that one.
Today, we'll be confronting an enemy so terrible, so heinous, that we brought in the big guns. Special expert, Rob Hockenberry, and special victim, Vince DeStefano. All the movies on DeRazzled won Worst Picture at the Razzies the year they were released.
Or were nominated or something.
Yeah,
this one won.
We've played a little loose here and there. The Razzies, for those who don't know, are something of a reverse Oscars. They recognize the worst films of the year. With 41 remaining movies to pick from, and being aware of the eldritch horrors that lie ahead, I've made wild assumptions about Vince's character and suggested we watch Cats. Vince!
Yeah.
Are we still friends?
So I had been saying for a long time that I wanted my first mushrooms experience to be Cats. I ended up going in sober, but it still kind of fulfilled a lot of the things that I wanted it to be.
You may as well have dosed. A little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it just...
I noticed you dodged the question.
Jack, we were never friends.
Fair.
You heard it here, folks. Vince is an asshole.
Yeah, we're fine.
Fantastic. I'll try harder next time. So, before we forced you to watch this movie, what was your exposure to cats?
Internet memery. My dad brought in shows to IUP, which is a thing that we all kind of, at Fisher Auditorium.
Okay.
So we all kind of have that, like, collective.
Oh, that was his job.
That was his job.
Ah, okay.
Cats was one of them. I can't remember if I was, like, there and super little, or if I just have false memories of the show, but, like, I have some minor exposure, not in a form that I remember the entire thing before the movie.
Got it. Repressed memories of cats.
Yeah.
Rob, how about you?
I have spent most of my life pretending I don't hate the stage show, especially amongst my dancer friends that worship it and think it's the greatest thing ever.
Man, they're going to hate this episode.
Yeah, and I've been to multiple, and I mean like 4 or 5 different yelling conversations about what is Cats and why does it have a plot and does it have a plot and how many shrooms did Lloyd Webber do before he wrote Cats?
It was all coke.
Brought in the right person.
Yes.
Joe, did you have any exposure to cats?
Mostly through commercials advertising like various touring runs of it, but I do. One of my favorite things to tell people about it whenever it comes up in conversation is that my mom and dad, before I was born, went to a showing of Cats on Broadway, and they went high out of their minds and left halfway through just laughing their asses off.
And that's how Joe was conceived.
No.
Jesus.
What year did it come out?
1982 is when it hit New York.
So it fits.
Yeah.
My only exposure to cats was knowing, so like, it was around the 4th grade that I found out I wanted to be a theater person. Like I wanted to act first. And I knew Cats was a thing that like actor people should do. So
Quote unquote new.
Right. I knew nothing. And then I remember seeing a commercial for like Cats for the first time being broadcast on television. So I like waited for this to come on the TV. It was like one of those like big box TVs.
Like a big CRT, like
on
old,
the floor. Like it was a thing.
one of those like wood framed. Like, oh my god, my grandfather had one of those.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And it had a little like door that you push the side and like flipped open. You could like adjust it.
Yeah.
We're old. And I'm watching this thing, and I too don't remember much. But apparently, I was like, maybe I don't want to be an actor. Maybe this is what I wanted to do.
No.
And then I also told you, Reading Rainbow did a bit on
Right.
Cats, which was pretty cool. I did like that. They kind of go behind the scenes and talk to the actors about like costumes, makeup, that kind of stuff. It was really nice. And when you know, I don't act anymore. It's weird.
What I'm getting is that repressed memories are real, and the Satanic Panic was actually just cats.
Yeah, no, Satan had nothing to do with that.
Actively, openly denies it to this day, and no one will listen.
Fantastic. So let me give you guys I was going to say a real quick summary, but that's a lie. Let me give you a summary of specifically the film. But before I go into it, I want to say that I've limited my usage of the word eat to 3. 3 yeets starting now. The movie opens on what Rob tells me is London, but that windmill thing from Moulin Rouge is in the background, which makes Cats part of the Greater Moulin Rouge Cinematic Universe, the GMRCU. And I refuse to be told otherwise.
I would like to add one thing.
Please.
You were super offended when I gave my opinion of the set, which is that it is a cross between Moulin Rouge and Blade Runner.
You...
Where's the lie?
There has to be shadows for it to be Blade Runner. Everything was so bright.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, okay.
Throw a little speed racer in, then you got it.
Cut that out. We're plunged into a CGI hellscape where we see Disney's Cruella pull her 1974 Panther DeVille saloon into an alley. In her hand, she holds a writhing sack. Deciding cats are so last fall, Cruella yeets the bag before driving off, presumably to skin some puppies.
Presumably.
30 CGI morph-suited cats with human faces superimposed onto them inspect the squirming pillowcase. Monkastrap? Monkastrap. Okay. Monkastrap, a cat trying really hard to look mysterious, but coming across more like your drunk uncle about to get handsy. claws open the pillowcase, revealing Victoria, the Caucasian cat. I mean, the white cat. The cats inform the new kid that they are special cats called jellicles, which means they do all the regular shit cats normally do, plus whatever popped into T.S. Eliot's skull at the time of writing. We also hear mention of a ball or contest wherein it will be decided whom among them is sent to the Heaviside lair. They also weekly thread a subplot involving Mr. Mistopheles, a magical tuxedo cat, wanting to catbone Victoria.
Like you do.
Like you do. Upon the arrival of Macavity, played by Idris Elba, the other cats abandon Victoria. I used to think he was better than this.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Idris?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, I haven't watched many movies with him, but I always kind of like, oh, he is A-grade, good actor. And then he did Cats. I'm like, but why would you?
Does this coincide much with his boxing career? Because it might be like some
some like Ponji brain stuff.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. I didn't know he did boxing.
Yeah, neither does news to me too.
He tried to make a break professionally.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know much else about it other than that he attempted it.
Canon now. The only reason he signed off on this movie was...
Oh, I thought you were going to say Macavity has a concussion.
No.
No,
He signed off for this movie to record with Taylor Swift to have one line in a song about her actual English boyfriend. That's him.
Yes! Upon the arrival of Macavity, played by Idris Elba, concussed as hell, the other cats abandon Victoria. Macavity tells Victoria that he's going to win the ball before magic ninja poofing away. Why did he feel the need to tell Victoria, who is not a jellicle and therefore not in the competition? Reasons. Evil reasons. The jellicle cats reappear to recite a poem about how cats have 3 names. They do this in a CGI graveyard. This is a metaphor for the bloat and inevitable crash of the capitalism as it relates to the 1980s overconsumption. I'm just kidding. It means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. As does the following ballet number, it goes on for fucking ever. Aroused, the tuxedo
I
cat.
fucking hate you. I hate you so much. We were friends before that, and now it's over.
That
was it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may fire Jack. We'll see how this goes.
So this is what it feels like to like deliver puns.
Yeah,
because I don't do that.
No, you don't.
You should never do it again. Fuck off.
You should do it all the time.
No, he's tasted power. He's gonna go right to his head.
I think there's one more.
You think?
Anyway, aroused, the tuxedo cat screams his own name as he pounces into the scene. Mistopheles! Mistopheles shoots a shot, biffing it, but somehow still manages to do better than that time I was talking to a woman on Tinder and she asked me what I was into, and I said the General Mills cereal monsters.
The best answer.
If you can't handle me at my blueberry, you don't deserve me at my chocula.
Jack, how long have you been waiting to say those words?
Which part?
If you can't handle me at my booberry.
That's not even mine. That's Belinda's.
Credit where credit's due.
Yeah, she's like, if they can't handle you at your blueberry.
No, Jack would have said fruity yummy mummy.
Special guest of the podcast that will never ever appear, Belinda.
Yeah.
She'll appear at some point.
I thought she respected herself too much for it.
No, she's dating me. Monkstrap spells out the plot of the film, just in case the audience missed it, upset by the promise of buttholes, though there was none to be had. He states the elder cat will show up and judge them, deciding on the single cat to yeet into space, the quote-unquote Heaviside layer. This will cause the as-to-yet-be-yeeted cat to be reborn in the cat life of their cat choosing. Mungostrap invites Victoria to see one of the cats looking for a solid yeeting.
That's 4 yeets. Fuck you.
That's 2. This is 2 yeast.
That's 4.
That's
4.
That's
Oh,
4.
God,
Broken
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, see you later, man. They go into the kitchen of Jenny Anydots, the Gumby cat. This is Rebel Wilson. Am I supposed to care? Am I supposed to be excited by this casting? Am I old? Whoever she is, her shtick gets old immediately. While at first appearing to be a real Garfield, she busies herself at night training small child-faced mice to sing and showgirls in anime cockroach armor to dance. This aborted Smashing Pumpkins music video makes for strong nightmare fuel. But nothing compares to Jenny Anydots skinning and removing her first layer of her fur coat.
I could have very well done without that at any point ever.
That's actually what I came to the movie for, so...
The cat skinning, but also more cat fur underneath.
Yeah, no, the nightmare fuel.
Vince, I'm not normally one to kink shame, but...
So after doing that, she eats 4 or 5 lady cockroaches before Rum Tum Tugger, the funk cat who fucks, appears on her mantle.
Milk!
Rum Tum Tugger tells Victoria he'd like to eat her ass.
I mean, more or less.
Yeah. No, I replayed it several times. I'm like, no, that's definitely what he says. Victoria's not entirely against it. He then sings about how cats are indecisive. We break from the numbers so that Rebel Wilson can shoehorn a tired joke about neutering. This is the first of 4 pointless juvenile interruptions. After
just 4?
Yeah, I counted it. It feels like so much more.
It really does.
Yeah. After seducing some jailbait, Rum Tum Tugger runs into Grisabella, the glamour cat. He hisses. His erection defeated. Tugger fucks right off. Grisabella is real sad and old and used to be pals with McCavity, which is the Jellicoe cats don't like her. I still don't get it. Anyway, McCavity, Nightcrawler bamfs Jenny Any Dots away. And
Emily's reaction to that was, thank you.
Right. No. It's the best part of the movie.
The correct reaction.
Next, we suffer through Bustafer Jones, played by James Corden. Another celebrity I feel like I should know, but don't, and now never want to.
Best known for his talk show that's not good, his singing karaoke in cars with celebrities, and like a 2-episode spot he did on Doctor Who where he's overshadowed by a baby.
They should have got that baby.
They should have got that baby. That's.
I feel like his role in the world is to be hated. Like, most of what I ever hear about James Corden is hatred.
But he's also like, this is not his first movie musical. He got his start doing musicals and plays on the West End. He's the lead in Into the Woods. And something else I'm blanking on. I know there's more. Like
the stage, not the movie, or the movie as well?
The movie. He's the baker in that Disney travesty.
I didn't realize that. Oh.
Like Jenny Any Dots, he deviates from the style of the show to make quippy quips that might amuse children who convince their parents to take them to this dumpster fire, all of whom have since divorced.
I did hear on the most recent other podcast it's not worst idea of all time. It's Till Death Do Us Blart.
Till Death Do Us Blart. Yeah.
That that Justin McElroy's children love cats and like to watch it over and over again.
Oh no, I missed that detail when I listened to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to just grow up super weird.
Oh yeah,
they're Justin McElroy's kids,
but it's going to be worse now.
It's going to be worse now because that well's now been poisoned by Tom Hooper.
Bustafer wants to be chosen so that he can come back as a skinny and become a fatty fat all over again. He gargles some CGI champagne, something they kept out of the soundtrack release. Thank God.
That's a plus.
Yeah, the soundtrack release cuts 99% of the bullshit. It's just the songs. Like I was afraid they were going to do the song and still have Rebel Wilson's bullshit. No.
Good.
So he does this before being pressured to dive into a Mario warp tube by McCavity. God, I'm like 1/3 of the way through this. This fucking movie. Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser show up to...
These names. Just...
I was telling Belinda earlier about Rum Tum Tugger's bulge, and she was like, Rum Tum what now?
Rum Tum wants you to Tugger.
There it is.
Somebody had to do it.
Of course. Low-hanging fruit.
So these fucking cats...
Fuck!
God. They remind us the cats are dicks. They teach Victoria cats are dicks, but leave her for dead when the family dog shows up. Mistopheles arrives to help Victoria. They nearly share a kiss, but Victoria ain't feeling it for reasons. Vague reasons.
I do want to touch on, God damn it. I do want to get to one point about those two in particular. Are they supposed to be siblings?
Mistopheles.
Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser are, yes.
Yeah, there was some really big threesome energy throughout that whole fucking song, and it was horrible to watch.
That's a fair critique.
If they had only gone there.
No, I feel Em and I agreed. They basically did. It was the like musical, like dim the lights, zoom in on the fireplace. Yeah. That whole dance scene, especially once they're rolling around on the bed together, kind of felt like that. It was fucking horrible.
To be fair, on stage, Mungo Jerry's costume is extremely gay. So he's got it's a he wearing like the cutout sweatshirt type of thing over top of his catsuit.
Hell yeah.
Stylish.
Nice.
You know what? I may have their names backwards. I can never tell them apart because
Right.
reasons. They're caliphs.
So we meet old Deuteronomy, played by Judi Dench. She's lived 99 cat lives in a row. I did the math, and that would make her no less than 407 in human years, which, with that considered, looking pretty good, Judy. Anyway, she is to pick the cat most deserving of being launched into space. We enter the theater where the ball will take place. We get a lengthy dance number, one that like Victoria looks like she skipped dance rehearsal, barely able to keep up with the intricate tail choreography. Rude. Idiot. Meanwhile, Grisabella skulks around the edge of the party. She's spotted by the diva cats who hiss at her.
There's a lot of hissing.
Victoria takes 5, spotting Grisabella singing her sad song about memories and how she once had a great life, but now is just a smelly old garbage cat. Victoria tries to take her hand, but Grisabella pulls away at the last second as though she isn't worthy. I think that's different in the show. I think the other cats hold Victoria back from touching her.
Side note, Grisabella was considered too sad by T.S. Eliot to include in the book, so she is a cut scene from the book.
Wow.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Huh.
And the only emotional content in the entire movie.
And the last element added to the stage show, but that's...
Interesting.
Wow.
We then get to a song from Victoria, Beautiful Ghosts, in response to Grisabella's song about only having memories. Victoria says that at least Grisabella had that, these beautiful ghosts. She has nothing. And if I'm being honest, this is the 5 minutes of the movie I actually enjoyed.
It's also the only one not in a stage show.
Which I'm
this
about to
is
say.
the Taylor Swift song, right?
Yeah. Anyway, only after writing this did I find out that this was an original song written by Taylor Swift for the movie, thus committing the movie's greatest sin of tricking me into liking a Taylor Swift song. I'm a Swiftie now, you guys. Yeah.
No, don't applaud that. Don't applaud that.
I'll do what I want. Fuck you. I
I
am allowed to swear on this show, right?
Oh my God.
We just had a conversation to start this about cat butthole jewelry covers.
Yeah, but none of those were cuss words.
Have I not said cat fucking? I've had to have said cat fucking.
I thought you said cat fucking at some point.
It would be weird of me not to have said cat fucking.
I don't know. We did an entire episode about superhero cunnilingus, so yeah, you're fine.
All right, cool. Just so long as you're not going to get fined by the FCC or whatever.
Nah.
All right, cool.
This is not Nipplegate.
Mistopheles catches Gus the theater cat drinking backstage. Something anyone who's done community theater has almost certainly experienced. Gus sings about the good old days. This is helped by Mistopheles, an admirer of the performer's work. Deuteronomy is amused. But before we get the cat orgy we've all been waiting for, McCavity arrives to McCavity Gus away.
McCavity!
Idris. Concussion. Got it.
Paycheck.
Then fucking Skimbleshanks, the railroad cat. I hate this fucking pointless song tap dance number. I hate the cat's face. I hate that it sidelines the plot. I hate that everyone's fine with Gus disappearing.
Hold on. You hate that it sidelines the plot?
We got some like plot developing, right? Like they're at the ball.
That's a charitable phrase.
Very much so. They're at the ball. They're auditioning for a yeeting, and
how many is that now? I think that's 5.
That's 5 yeets, yeah.
We're going to hit 10 before the night is over.
Then McCavity shows up, steals another one, and then there's like, we could continue with the plot where like our cats are going missing and then one of us gets tossed up there, but instead we're going to stop what we're doing to watch this fucking weird ass in a Mario onesie, tappity tap tap tap.
Look, he was trying to save us from Chris Pratt as Mario before we ever knew it was a possibility. Okay?
Cast that cat, hashtag cast that cat.
Hashtag cast that cat.
I am curious, because I, on second viewing, actually really liked Skimbleshanks. And I don't know if it was that I'd like developed Stockholm syndrome. I'm kind of curious your take on him in movie and stage show.
Yeah,
Rob.
We'll get to it because I saw your message that like you suffered through it again and your mind changed on Skimbleshanks.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
All right. Yeah, fair enough.
Fuck him. Taylor Swift is lowered from the ceiling, lounging on a crescent moon. She hotboxes the cat, gifts, getting them fucked up with a bedazzled catnip shaker. She sings about how awesome evil McCavity is, and that's all I'm going to say, because the Swifties are dangerous, and I don't want to fuck with them.
Oh no, they'll come here.
Yeah.
They will find this house.
They are already on their way.
It was great, guys. I love Taylor Swift.
I'm actually really glad I'm not on camera for that reason alone. Yeah.
You're smart. McCavity tells Deuteronomy he's ready to go to the Heaviside Layer. He is the only remaining contestant after all. She says that'll never happen. He kidnaps her, taking her to a barge where she meets Carl Panzram in cat form and is made to walk. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's pretty good. Fuck.
Panzram.
She's then made to walk a very long plank. Back at the theater, Mistopheles tries to magic her back. After a little coaxing and through the power of song,
This fucking song, though.
he finally succeeds.
I have been thinking about that song for the last 48 hours because it never leaves.
I've had Skimbleshank stuck in my head.
Interesting which ones, we differ on which one is the horrible earworm.
Uh,
They're all horrible.
They're all-
earworms, which is the worstest of the worst.
Horrible earworm roulette is the movie.
So he succeeds. He then makes it rain playing cards flying through the air in a way that I would compare to a video game character with all the cheats on.
Yeah.
I saw Jizz. I'm not kidding. Yeah.
No, you talked about that when we were doing the
He
watch
and Victoria kiss, and then immediately he shoots across the
Spewing
stage,
cats-
spewing cards.
Spewing cards
White
everywhere.
playing cards across the stage.
Yeah.
It's very jizzy.
It is very jizzy, and I didn't somehow miss that.
And all that is.
It finishes with the cat dance, which I guess is redundant now that you've informed me that he's already finished. Victoria stops.
Mistopheles' real magic is that he can just go right again.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
No refractory period.
No refractory period.
God, let me get I have like 4 paragraphs left. Victoria spots Grisabella creep-a-leapin'. She brings her inside to perform her sad-ass song that, according to a former press secretary, was used to calm Donald Trump when he was raging about the White House.
Oh yeah. Oh, good Lord.
Grisabella sings so hard she collapses. Victoria helps her up, giving Grisabella that sweet, sweet touch. Deuteronomy picks her as the Jellicle choice. The Jellicles sing up, 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 proving only through exhausting reputation will a cat do what you ask. Grisabella floats off in a half chandelier, half hot air balloon. McCavity tries one last time to catch a ride, but slips, falling onto a statue of Napoleon Bonaparte. Ironic, because he is the Napoleon of crime, which I take to mean he likes his women unbathed and his Waterloos unwon.
McCavity also tried to overtake Russia in the winter.
Yeah, not a good idea. The sun comes up tomorrow.
Damn it.
Judi Dench reminds us that cats are not dogs.
What?
That's nice, Grandma. Eat your pudding.
Fuck.
Victoria and Mistopheles head bump, a precursor to bumping cat uglies.
But he already finished.
No refractory period.
But he has no.
Right.
He's ready to go.
He's loaded up with cards already. God damn it.
This show's stupid. I should leave.
You're too good for this show. But you're stuck here because you answered that one butthole question.
And the doors are locked.
Deuteronomy tells Victoria she's now a Jellicle cat as they both watch Grisabella's balloon drift higher and higher, getting even ever closer to the Heaviside Layer, which is a part of the Earth's ionosphere and something Grisabella will never see, as she'll suffocate and die once she's reached around 8,000 meters above the Earth, approximately 9,992 kilometers away from her intended goal.
Thank you for that fact, Rob, by the way. Oh, yeah. Yay.
Oh God.
That is my headcanon, though, is every Jellicle choice is just dead. Like, they just die.
Yeah.
Nothing else happens.
Oh yeah, no, they pray for death. That is
It's just a trip to Urinetown. That's all it is.
Did I miss anything plot-wise? Sorry, plot-wise.
Yeah, thank you for using the finger quotes. Yes.
Plot-wise.
No, I think you nailed it.
I feel like I maybe went too in depth, honestly. I kinda wish
very
it
much.
just been,
Yeah.
like,
You did miss the James Corden and, oh my God, why can't I think of her name? Jenny Anydots.
yeah.
Rebel Wilson, yeah.
Rebel Wilson, when they take on the cameo Growl Tiger and escape from McCavity's clutches on the boat.
Oh yeah, I did kind of breeze over the cat.
Oh yeah,
boat scene 'cause it's
that
fucking
reminds
stupid.
me. That reminds me. Carl Pern's ram.
Very
Oh,
good. Joe, I'm assuming you already know the answer to this, so we're gonna limit this to Vince only.
All right. Man, this show sucks. What are you doing?
I can't remember. Are you one of the idiots who asked to be on this? Or?
Yeah, for cats specifically.
Yeah, you did.
That's always my favorite. I kind of feel bad when we ask somebody on and then torture them, but Rotten Tomatoes score.
Uh,
This is the general Rotten Tomatoes score.
I'm gonna say, you mean like critics, not audiences.
I think it's general. I think general combines them, right?
You would know better than I would.
Gonna say low 20s.
20.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay.
Then specifically the audience score. If you have any faith left in humanity, drop it.
Right. No, I was gonna say high 30s, but based on that comment, I'm gonna say low 40s. What is it?
53.
It broke 50. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I think some of the things we did for our guilty pleasure are lower than that.
Yeah, they are. In fact, I'm pretty sure all of them except the cable guy are, which is bonkers.
I want to puke. IMDb, it's out of 10.
IMDb always feels like more centered than Rotten Tomatoes in my experience, so I'm gonna say 3-ish.
Not bad. 2.7.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Not good guesses.
I am fucking awesome
yeah.
at this.
Your secret skill of being able to guess within a standard deviation of a film's horrible score.
Okay, here's some stats for cats. Cat stats.
Got that.
In 2019, Cats won the 40th Golden Raspberries Award for Worst Picture.
Sure did.
With a total of 9 nominations, it won 6. Aside from Worst Picture, it won Worst Director for
Good.
Tom Hooper.
Tom Hooper.
I keep thinking of like Toby Hooper, which is a completely different director and not alive.
but would have been so much better directing this.
It would have been
This
fascinating.
is a full-on
I keep
horror
telling
flick.
you, he's 76 years old and also dead.
Still could have done a better job.
It was, Toby Hooper did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I believe.
Oh,
and
shit.
Funhouse. I think.
Oh, let's bring that influence into this. Hell yeah.
The first Poltergeist.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to see his cats.
No, that just sounds dirty.
Yeah.
Jodorowsky's cats.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, they sort of look like Rob Zombie.
So weird. Oh, he said Jodorowsky, not Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie would be an entirely different.
Oh,
film.
yeah.
Oh, I heard.
Okay. Oh, amazing.
I think Rob Zombie. I think he was supposed to do a hockey film at one point, and just like it's just going to be like a hockey film because he likes hockey.
That does sound vaguely familiar. Was he going to do like a Slapshot remake or something?
I don't know if it was a remake. I think it was like a straight up like original hockey film.
I have to look at that.
And then people were like, "No, you're Rob Zombie. Like, go make some more trash horror."
But I want
Yes,
him to
and
make
now
a
he's
hockey
ruining
film.
the Addams Family.
No,
Munsters.
the Munsters.
Oh, the Munsters.
Yeah, the Addams Family have already been ruined.
Yeah,
Again.
unfortunately.
Also won Worst Supporting Actor for James Corden,
Yep.
and Worst Supporting Actress for Rebel Wilson.
Yep.
Worst Screen Combo, any 2 half feline, half human hairballs. Were there hairballs in this film? Did I block this out? Is this a repressed memory? That was fast.
It may just be referring to them as hairballs
Ah,
as
okay.
opposed to...
It is, but there's an actual hairball in the movie.
I
It wasn't-
assume
it
they are
wasn't
saying
actual hairball.
I assume they are saying all chemistry in this film,
Right.
all of it, between any 2 given cats, deserves the Razzie.
Or cat insect. I mean, let's not be. You know.
Oh, God.
And then it also won Worst Screenplay, who I'm going to read out the full credits for because they deserve it. Lee Hall and Tom Hooper, based upon the musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, which itself is based on a book, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. T.S. Eliot.
Yes.
Fuck you all.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to argue that we hold back the fuck you on T.S. Eliot specifically, but I'll get into why later.
I'm allowing myself to be convinced, but for right now, I'm holding a solid fuck you.
Okay.
Because I did read it.
I mean,
the book.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
No. Fuck him for that. But for the rest of it, I'll get into it later.
Okay. And then it was also nominated for Worst Actress for Francesca Hayward, Victoria. Worst Supporting Actress, Judi Dench as old Deuteronomy, and Worst Screen Combo, Jason Derulo, and his
Jason
CGI
Derulo.
neutered bulge.
Wait, was the bulge actually mentioned?
Yeah,
Yes.
the combo. Jason Derulo and his CGI neutered bulge.
Oh, wow.
Which was like the topic of discussion amongst a certain section of the population for
I'm
like 2 months. Ugh.
Certain.
I believe that. Now, do you think that he
When I
knew
talk
going-
about my section, can you mention that, because I didn't find that in the places I was looking. Can't wait. Yeah.
So do you think that he realized going into this that he was going to end up getting like the David Bowie Labyrinth treatment?
Or did he demand?
Or did he demand? Oh,
No.
He planned a photo shoot with a wet towel to release when the trailer came out.
he did. Oh my God.
Real quick before we finish up with Act 1, I don't have a designated place to talk about this, but Skimbleshanks. I think that the song specifically is, I'm not going to say good, but I can enjoy it. Where it's placed in the film, I hate.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing that changed my mind on Skimbleshanks was I felt like the dancing was particularly good and well shot in that section on my most recent read, but I also am not a dance person, and I also was in like full fever dream by that point in the movie.
I think when they are at the theater, I enjoy that part. When they leave the theater to do the choo-choo train on the tracks, and they cut to a wide, it looks fucking ridiculous. Like, Cats, the movie, should never have shown a single wide shot, because it takes me out of it. I'm like, oh yeah, these are a bunch of like CGI humans on a CGI set. This looks fucking ridiculous. It should have had the Peanuts role where it's like you never see the adults, which they did. It's just like keep in the world of this stupid cats. So I don't hate Skimbleshanks, but also what the fuck? Because it's the same in the musical, right? Like the placement's still the same.
Close enough. But in the musical, it comes after a lot of heavy dramatic stuff. So it's your first bop coming back. And why I enjoy it in the movie is it's real choreography. It's one of the few numbers that doesn't revolve around CGI tails doing the work for the dancers.
Right.
You actually get to see the dancers dance. The tails are secondary.
I can't believe I actually picked up on an artistic dance thing. Fuck, thank you, Rob.
What was I going to say? Within the play, is it narratively justified? Because within the film,
Is anything narratively justified
as
in the
much
play?
as the others, but it's a much cooler staging because what they do is they pull pieces of garbage out of the junkyard and make the train out of it. So they all
that's what I
become
was
the
going to
train.
Sounds really familiar, yeah.
Because that's one of the hallmarks of the show is that like almost everything that they're visualizing that isn't a cat is like comprised of the trash in the junkyard around them, including like the cats using trash to dress as mice and dogs and so on. Like
That sounds so much cooler than the shit that happened in this movie.
yeah, I know, right?
And the train crashes on stage when Skimbleshanks doesn't pay attention at one point.
So when we get
that's
to the
pretty
portion where we discuss the stage show, are you going to give like a this happened versus this didn't? Or are you just talking about
A
the
little bit.
build? Okay. Is there any other, we can talk about it now then, is there any other major differences between the show and the movie?
I mean, they cut a lot of cats out. They cut the single most 80s thing out, the Rumpus Cat, who saves the cats in the battle of the Pollicle dogs against whatever the fuck the other
that
dogs
fucking
are.
number, right, yeah.
And he's got like the Back to the Future glowing sunglasses
Yes.
that blink on stage.
Oh, okay. I have seen images of this cat. Yeah.
Did you say pollicle dog?
Yeah. No.
all
Jellicle
cats are jellicle cats and
all
pollicle
dogs. Yeah.
Somebody didn't read the source material.
No, I sure did.
The other type of dog is something that sounds very similar to Pekingese, but it's not Pekingese.
Isn't it kind of vaguely racist?
Call them peakies or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a slur, even if it's not.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the movie makes Victoria a significantly larger character to try to give us a through line.
Yeah, McCavity a little bit, right?
McCavity's about the same. He's a little bit more, not much. McCavity's like a huge deal in the show, but it's sort of one of those. look there, he's the Phantom of the Opera, because you don't see him for so
Right,
long,
right,
it's just
right.
you hear about him.
Okay.
Whereas Victoria doesn't, she's not really important other than her one, oh my god, how do you bend that far dance?
Uh,
I mean, it should also be pointed out, McCavity's supposed to be like a ginger cat.
yeah.
And they just made him Idris Elba colored.
They kept the lyrics the same.
Yeah,
Were they-
entirely. Like, he says ginger cat.
There's this whole I re-listened to the soundtrack today, and there's this whole portion where it's Bumballerina. It's Taylor Swift. Sings, like, describes McCavity. I'm like, we're not looking at the same cat at all.
No.
Like, beyond just it not being a orange cat.
They did luckily skip the part where McCavity pretends to be old Deuteronomy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh,
And
I
there's
wasn't aware of
slow
that.
motion fight
Yeah,
to free old Deuteronomy.
I did watch the recorded stage show, and I enjoyed it more than this.
You know, I actually kind of want to see a slow motion fight between Idris Elba and Judi Dench.
Fantastic.
Not even as cats, just like on the street in a supermarket.
And in the original, Deuteronomy is played by a male.
Right.
That's all the big differences I can think of. I mean, the at the end, whenever Grisabella's sent off, it's just a tire.
Yep.
I think, right?
It's a tire. Again, because everything's junkyard.
Yeah.
Great.
On
well,
tour, it was an inflatable junkyard. The set
can we get
was
one
a
of those?
bouncy house.
I want a bouncy house junkyard. Vince, how you feeling?
Concussed?
Fantastic. We're gonna take a short break before we concuss Vince further. Welcome back to DeRazzled. We are now going to hold those responsible for this travesty.
Let's do it.
A little different than we normally do it. Since there's 4 of us, we've broken up that into different areas of responsibility. Rob will go first, and being the theateriest theater person here, you've been stuck with the stage show. So
the stage show is one of those. It's a hit simply because the right stuff and the right cocaine at the right time. It's theater's always cyclical. So like something big comes along and everybody copies it and it gets old and goes away. So, you know, in the 40s you have, we got to stick a ballet and everything, which is great when it's part of the plot. But then random ballets for no apparent reason. Ballet is awful. Goes away from musical theater for 30 years. Cats comes along when we start doing concept shows like Cabaret or A Chorus Line where you're not necessarily looking for a linear plot.
Okay.
And it's the first thing to show ballet. All we've had is jazz dance for 30 years or tap or fussy.
Okay.
We haven't had ballet. We haven't had pretty looking dance. And all of a sudden you've got a musical where every little boy or girl that wants to do ballet can see themselves on stage. Because even though there's some jazzy stuff, it's a ballet based show.
Mm-hmm. Does Cabaret or the other concept shows, do they do ballet as well? Or
No.
Okay.
That was what was unique to Cats.
Okay.
It's, you've got this concept where it's just cat, cat, cat. Rough plot if you dig for it. Sort of like
Right.
Hair. I mean, Hair doesn't really have a plot.
That's true.
The movie has a plot. The stage show does not.
What I'll say this right now, and you should know this because you're the only reason I passed my freshman year. I'm a bad theater student. I am not a good. Nope. I snuck in there for 5 years, got my degree, and ran off. I was filmed the whole time. Tricked ya, fuckers. So while the names are names that I recognize, the shows themselves and the story behind them, I've got nothing. Cabaret, I remember from was Liza Minnelli's fucking face. Yeah. It haunts my dreams. And that's it. That's all I know. So the concept show.
The concept show means the concept of what's going on is more important than your plot.
Okay.
Where you build it around what it is. Cabaret is about confronting the evils of society. It's not specifically about, you don't really care about where the people are going. It's confronting the horrors of the past to see just how truly awful humans can be. You get Company, which is allegedly about a man who's single and all his friends trying to pair him up, but it's actually about the hell of how our society's idea of forcing you into marriage cripple our society.
And that's all done through the songs, just songs, right?
Well, there's dialogue too, but
Okay.
it's you don't go to Company to see how does Bobby get his happy ending.
Right. Okay.
You know, you don't go to Sweeney Todd to see how does Sweeney get his happy ending.
Certainly not.
Is Sweeney Todd also kind of a concept?
Close.
Because I feel like there's a little bit more of a plot.
It has more. I guess it sort of combines the two because Sweeney's about the concept of horror on stage. Like, how can I stage a horror movie on stage?
Gotcha.
That's the whole point.
The only time my mom saw theater before I was in theater was as a school trip. They took them to see Sweeney Todd. And
For a school. Oh,
yeah, it, like
how old were
ruined
the
her.
children?
I have no idea. No idea.
that's highly inappropriate.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty good.
love
They
it.
also did the prison walk thing, where they'll like take the kids through the prison, and be like, "Don't do crime, or you'll end up there."
Scared straight
Oh,
Yeah.
kids.
God.
Yeah, it's no wonder my mom has terrible anxiety. So with that, not the thing about my mom, the concept of what the fuck is Cats about? Then I missed it.
Literally, cats. That's
The
all
concept is
it
cats?
That's the concept.
That's it.
Joe-
That's entirely it.
Joe sent a video that I watched the first minute of yesterday.
The Lindsay Ellis, Why is Cats?
And
yeah.
it's the
I need to watch it.
there is a section. I don't know who is talking. Do you know who's talking in that section?
Oh, that's Hal Prince.
Okay. Yeah, and Hal Prince is asking Andrew Lloyd Webber, wait, is it actually about this? Not it's cats
Yes.
as this? And it's like Andrew Lloyd Webber's like, no, it's cats.
It's
just about cats.
So keep in mind, Lloyd Webber is an infamous egotist. Like, he's
Okay.
right up there with Trump as far as valuing himself. And he had just gotten off a string of, let me write an album, it's going to be a hit, I'll turn it into a stage show, and that's also a big hit. So he kind of feels invincible. And he's a huge cat lover.
Mhm.
His cat is smarter than him because his cat deleted Love Ever Never Dies, and he stupidly rewrote it.
This is why
but
we love cats.
He had loved the book since childhood and actually convinced Eliot's widow that this was a good idea.
That was something I was going to get into. Yeah.
What had he done before this?
So his breakout was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And then he did Jesus Christ Superstar. And then he did Evita, and this was his pit stop on the way to Phantom of the Opera, and then Obscurity after that.
Nice.
And he just could do what he did, and it was tapping into the 80s were the age of excess. And what's more excessive than people in gigantic fur coats dancing in leotards? So it just became this perfect firestorm of, here's the first time on Broadway you're hearing a musical where you've got synth and Casio keyboards, which now we cringe at, but at the time were the coolest thing ever.
Right.
You know,
How
you've got
dare you? Synths and
ballerinas.
Casio keyboards are fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Well, I was about to say they kind of come back around because that was one of the things I enjoyed about it was the synth and Casio. But like if you
Time is a flat circle.
right? If I had to listen to this like 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh my god. Cool.
And that was a side effect of the fact nobody wanted to finance the damn thing because everyone went, Andrew, what are you smoking and why are you not sharing? So by putting synth keyboards in the orchestra, you can cut the orchestra in size.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
And then you get complications like, so when it was in rehearsal, like the out of time, Lloyd Webber always workshops the show. Like he does a production before he tries to do the official one.
Okay.
It's involved into what's currently called the Sidmonton Festival, where he has one every year. Where if it's not his new work, it's somebody's new work that he does in his estate. Grisabella wasn't in there, and Trevor Nunn, head of the English National Theatre, the esteemed stage director, he was like, we need some dramatic through line, and that's where they dug up Grisabella.
Okay.
And that's where they cast Tim Rice's lover, Elaine Page, in the role. And Lloyd Webber plucked Memory, which he had written for something else and just never used, put it in the show. Elaine's like, this sucks. Trevor's like, this sucks. They brought Tim Rice in to write lyrics. Afterwards, he asked them to pull the lyrics out because he thought they sucked.
Yep.
And it ended up, the lyric that we all know and love was written by the director in rehearsal, basically.
Yeah.
It's not Eliot. It's Trevor Nunn.
It's Trevor Nunn. Yeah.
That's amazing because like the thing that I know Cats for, besides like the poster, because it's like kind of cool poster, is that song.
That's what most people know is Memory.
And it's ironic. Sorry, Alanis Morissette, ironic. Because it's not this full power ballad in the show that you expect it to be. It's actually sung in multiple chunks. You never get the full throttle music of the night moment out of it.
Right.
But it's still what every music box manufacturer between like 1985 and 1995 played Memory.
interesting.
That song's interesting to me too because in this viewing it didn't do anything for me until the very end of the last rendition of it. I guess we can talk more about that later, but it's interesting that everybody in production hated it too.
It honestly, memory within the score has more of a through line than the rest of the show itself does, because other people sing memory as snippets, and they're all hissing at her and yelling at her, and it's anger and hurt and regret before it turns the corner by the final time she sings it into "Look, a new day has begun." Now.
Yeah.
So if the Grisabella part was put in at the end, was there a different cat picked to be the Jellicle cat, or like the whole?
No one's willing to admit, but there had to have been.
Yeah.
It's one of those great lost secrets of cats. Like who won at the end?
What's your guess, Rob? I need to know. What's your guess?
Like what other cat would? Maybe Gus. Gus would be the only one I would think.
Gus would be, or old Deuteronomy himself.
Just like fuck y'all. The fingers they're floating on.
Eat shit. I'm going into the atmosphere.
No, I needed to make it to 100. No.
Because Gus's song is, at least in my opinion, kind of similar to Grisabella's, and they're both sad sacks. And like all the other contestants are like, I'm a funny asshole. Like, why would I be excited for them to pick like Jenny Anydots or Busta for fuckface?
Well, and you like Gus because he's like, all this stuff sucks because I'm old and decrepit now, but he doesn't want to go. Gus is like, I'm just going to continue on doing what I'm doing because I love the theater. So
you're thinking Rum Tum Tugger then? He goes to fucking space.
Yes.
Jason Derulo in Space, the musical we've all been waiting for.
This is the sequel that we didn't know we were going to get to Cats. Thank you, Rob. That was very enlightening. And it actually kind of explains why we got what we got.
Yeah.
I'm going to now talk about the movie production itself, which is basically a couple of like factoids, and then it's all about the visual effects. Like there's so much material about the visual effects and like why. So the first thing is there was cat school where the actors went to learn how to be a cat, and their cat teacher was a Sphinx cat. Specifically because there's no fur, so you can see the movements of the cat body more cat like.
That's gross, but also kind of fascinating.
Yeah. It is, but it's mostly gross.
Here's the frustrating thing:
Not
is
a
like
cat, Rachel.
I hated like I thought they were trying too hard to be cats in the film, and we'll get to this.
Meow, 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 meow.
Right? Like I'm like, you're humans. Like just don't try so hard to make me. Trick me into thinking you're a cat. You're not. The two people who did not go to cat school are Judi Dench and Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
And they had like little things that indicated they were cats, but never did I like look at what Ian McKellen was doing and think like, oh, this is a cat. I'm tricked into thinking a cat. Like there's one thing here, like rubs his face against the wall. And I'm like, oh, that was funny. It was great. Like you're giving me indicators that you are in the character of a cat. Whereas,
but he also made it a stage superstition at that point, which I only caught on second viewing. He said, like,
really?
he says something about like good times coming or something like that, and then says touch wood, and then
he does. That's right.
That's kind of ace. Actually,
that's pretty great. Yeah.
Well, that was a thing where you would touch the side of a door as you walk through a set.
Yeah, but he was just doing it as a cat.
That's not in the original, right?
No, because the door's in the original.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a junkyard.
I'm in my head, Ian McKellen, he brought that. Because he's a theater person.
Yeah.
So cat schools, like that sounds like a stupid thing I would say. Like, let's send him to cat school and make it a naked cat.
It feels like a joke that you would come up with, but it's very real.
So this is something you mentioned while we were watching it, Rob. Spielberg and his company Amblin wanted to make an animated version of this.
Of which there are some pretty cool concept art.
Oh, really?
Out
Is
there.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And that company did Five Will Goes West is the only one that comes to mind, but
We're
American
back.
Tail.
Oh yeah, we're back.
We're back. The Dinosaurs movie.
Yeah.
And Balto.
And I kind of
those are really good animated.
Right. Like
yet
feel like they could have pulled it off.
But none of those movies were massive commercial successes.
No, and the company had shut down before they were able to put cats into production fully.
Yarp.
Rebel Wilson and James Corden,
Everyone's favorite cats.
knowing that they were going to be filming a mostly full cast scene, found a place to lounge for the entire scene, and so they wouldn't get tired. I just want to bring that up because I hate them, and they're lazy actors. That's
To
all.
be fair to them, I very much feel like they were told, bring your shtick.
Yeah.
Because those characters are done so different from what they were in the original stage show that it's like, okay, Rebel, do your pitch perfect shtick.
And like, if that's the only thing that they did, no, I'd still hate them. But I'll get to some more hateable stuff. They're still hateable, and they give me a lot of material for it. Anyway, the movie was quote unquote finished 48 hours before its premiere, which is not good.
No.
Especially because 2 days after it opened, an updated version of the film was sent out to theaters with like some minor VFX.
Rockstar produces.
Right.
Out
Specifically,
the buttholes.
You could see. We are gonna get to the buttholes. Specifically, like one of the things they removed is Judi Dench's wedding ring.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
But it was in the cut we watched.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, when we were watching it last night, Judi Dench's ring was visible.
Huh. So they still fucked it up.
I guess. I wonder if we just saw it in a scene where they missed it, or...
Could be.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, we could spend hours going over continuity gaps in this movie.
Frame by frame.
So the video effects people were told to take 6 months to work on a 2-minute trailer for this film, right? Which left them with 4 months to do the movie. The whole movie. Video effects workers apparently slaved away on the film, working between 80 and 90 hour weeks for months, only to have their work openly criticized by Hooper, who would like ask for changes, but like had no idea how video effects work.
I didn't know this movie was also a labor disaster.
Yeah, specifically with the visual effects. Like all I have for my section from here on out is visual effects stuff.
Christ.
Pinkerton's killing at Homestead, and cats. Those are my two big labor moments in American history.
Oh god, it gets so much worse.
No.
They described working with Tom Hooper as horrible. He's horrible, disrespectful, demeaning. And quote, when you go into a conference room, you're not allowed to speak, and he talks to you like you're garbage. Now onto the buttholes.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
So, and this is a direct quote from like one of the people that was like reviewing the footage. I think it was specifically Judi Dench's butthole, which is a phrase I would never say.
That's a Cards Against Humanity card.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Quote, we paused it. We went to call our supervisor and we're like, there's a fucking asshole in there. There's a butthole. It wasn't prominent, but you saw it. And you were like, what the hell is that? It's a fucking butthole in there. It wasn't in your face, but at the same time, too, if you're looking, you'll see it. End quote. So there seems to be some debate on whether they were intentional assholes or unintentional assholes. Meaning that the way that the fur kind of like laid on the human legs,
The CGI
fur like created a divot that looked like a butthole.
Wait, so the CGI fur just on its own coalesced
Morphed
into a butthole.
Correct.
It
wasn't some pervert out there just like adding buttholes.
Okay.
The perverts in there's the ghost in the machine.
The ghost in the machine is the pervert in this situation. Yeah.
That does ruin some of the magic for me, but
It makes more
also,
sense.
It makes more sense.
I really wanted to meet this pervert.
And it also means that the shape of Judi Dench's body caused the butthole cut, which is also its own like fun fact.
That's kind of magical, actually. Yeah. Good lord.
There was also a piss scene that was cut.
What the fuck? fuck?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Like a fairly graphic piss scene. I guess like some of it's still in there. It's just not apparent that there's piss. They just sort of remove the liquid.
Speaking of somebody who has had to clean up an asinine amount of cat piss over the past several months.
Both of you have.
Yeah. I don't want to see cat piss in a movie where I'm trying to get away from the world around me.
I want to know, like, was it a name actor or was it like a side character who's just like pissing? Do you know anything
Rob,
about
you
Tom
referred,
Hooper accidentally walked into a shot and was just pissing.
You referred to a moment as like the litter box dance.
What?
It's the moment in the Jellicle Ball where they're having all the choreography done by their tails,
Yeah.
and then they kick out their back legs like their dog's peeing.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Do you think that's the piss
No.
moment? Oh, okay. Do you
No.
know what
Are
the
you
piss
aware?
I don't
Sir,
know
are you aware of the-
specifically where it is, but from just the stuff I've read, it sounds like it was something that was meant to be in the background of a comedic scene.
So a Rebel Wilson or James Corden scene.
Probably.
Right.
Probably.
I'm going to vote James Corden. I think it was his scene.
I mean,
I think Rebel Wilson suggested it and James Corden did it.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, they already
Buster
gave
is
him
too fat to do that.
they already
Which is
gave him a
gross.
nutshot scene akin to Jar Jar Binks. So like, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, they ruined Buster Fur. That used to be one of my favorite cats.
No.
Yeah, I didn't mind him in the stage show.
He's one and done and cute and funny. And
Nice.
Here's the part like I'm actually mad about. During the Academy Awards, Corden and Wilson came out in a poor reproduction of their costumes to present the award for outstanding visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
They did this to specifically mock the visual effects in Cats, saying, "We know a thing or two about needing good visual effects."
To thunderous applause from the audience, if I'm not mistaken.
Some of the people thought it was fucking hilarious. There's a couple people who were just like, ugh. Which
Yeah.
I forget who the she's like a comedian actress was. They like cut away from her really quick because she went like not the reaction we wanted. Which like given the amount of shit that the visual effects people had to go through, both with Tom Hooper and then the time limit, and then his unrealistic expectations, to have them made fun of on the stage is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is worse working conditions for visual effects than the people who did The Last Airbender had to deal with.
Yeah.
You're
Wow.
making me feel so bad for the fever dream part that I
Yeah.
loved the most.
Well, I'm gonna make you feel worse too. So before I get to that though, like, so they cut away to the clips of the various nominated films, and then they would come back to it when they're supposed to like read the fucking card.
Right.
They start batting the mic back and forth
Oh, for God's
because
sake.
they're cats,
Uh-huh.
and of course, the joke goes on longer than it is funny, which was not at all. And I'm like, I've worked on so many crews where you're told like, don't touch
the
mic.
microphone.
Don't touch. I'm like, that mic is probably worth more than like several months' rent.
Yeah.
And these two assholes are up there smacking it around. One of the video effects people, I'm going to say his name is Ives McRae, tweeted while that scene was being played out. Hey guys, I haven't watched all the Oscars, but I assume these two are really classy, and thanked me for working 80-hour weeks until I was laid off and the studio closed. Right? In response to this bullshit, the Video Effects Society released a very long letter, which is great. I'm only going to read a paragraph from it.
Okay.
Last night, in presenting the Academy Award for Outstanding Visual Effects, the producers chose to make visual effects the punchline, and suggested that bad VFX were to blame for the poor performance of the movie Cats. The best visual effects in the world will not compensate for a story told badly. And I was like, oh shit!
Get him.
Yeah.
Fucking get him.
Because I was telling Belinda earlier, I'm like, I'm pretty sure we talked about an effects company that shut down after a movie tanked. Was it Avatar, or they just like?
I don't know. I don't think they shut down. I don't think we've actually had a discussion about something like that actually happening with one of our films. I know that happened after the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, after they were forced to recreate that entire thing after they released that human-legged 2D nightmare of a Sonic they first made.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was thinking of. And there was another movie recently that like they won the award for outstanding video effects, and they're like, "This is great. Too bad we're not a company anymore because we're bankrupt."
Yeah, I remember that. What fucking movie was that? Oh
I
God.
remember liking the movie too, but we'll add it in post.
Later. Yeah. Well, totally.
Yep.
Add that in post.
hmm Here it is, right here. Fantastic.
Watch me do it and make Jack feel bad now.
I would actually like for this whole section to be left in unedited.
Fair.
Great. As you wish. Joe, over to you, bud.
All right. Welcome to my my podcast within a podcast, Lapsed Academic, where a guy tries to use his literature degree for something other than sadness.
Joe, I hate you so much.
So I'm specifically going to be talking about T.S. Eliot, because as we've mentioned several times over, he was the one who created the source material that resulted in the stage show. So T.S. Eliot, or Thomas Stearns Eliot, I should say, named after his grandfather, if I'm not mistaken, born September 26th, 1888, died January 4th, 1965. Which I don't know if you realize that he lived that long into the 20th century, because I sure fucking didn't. He was born in Missouri, but he actually moved to England and gave up his American citizenship. Does he really liked it there? He's hailed as one of the best examples of modernist poets. The literary movement through the late 19th and early 20th centuries, largely marked by its desire to break away from the more florid and strictly structured Victorian literary styles and aspects of those social movements to forge something new, to try and repurpose and recontextualize things from other cultures outside of just Victorian England and further into the past and try and bring them into something more experimental.
That's where we get shit like Ozymandias, then.
That is where we get shit like Ozymandias. Gotcha. Yeah, that is
From The Watchmen?
God
yeah,
damn it.
Alan Moore is eternal and has lived that long and gave T.S. Eliot the idea. So T.S. Eliot and is one of many that are hailed as like the paragons of modernism. It's him, it's Ezra Pound, it's Virginia Woolf, it's Gertrude Stein. Outside of literature, it's Pablo Picasso, it's later on Samuel Beckett, Bertolt Brecht. There's a bunch of people who factor into this, and it ranges from things as kind of at this point you would consider classic in terms of literature, like image poetry and things like that. Things that are very grounded in creating images, but maybe play with structure and form a little bit more. Stuff like E.E. Cummings, or stuff that's longer form, like the Wasteland of T.S. Eliot's. Or you have, or it goes as far extreme as the Dadaists, who are often considered as a part of the modernist movement, though I would kind of think that they would actually be a little bit more opposed to it, considering the extreme nature of a lot of what they did and how far left they went. And oh God, I'm falling into a literature hole. Hold on.
Here's a rope.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, so Eliot worked in publishing, and he was the editor at large for Faber and Faber, I believe was the name of the publishing company. And through his connections there, and with other literary luminaries and so on and so forth, he had connections with people's kids. He knew these people very personally, and that's where Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats initially started. Was in he would write these to the kids who were his godchildren. He was he was close enough with a lot of these people that he was named a godparent several times. So he started testing out these ideas, like these kids' poems, these lighter pieces of verse that he wanted to share, and that's where all the Jellicle Cats and whatnot came from, and that's where eventually we got Old Possum, which is also the name Old Possum actually comes from Ezra Pound. That was his nickname for T.S. Eliot, and T.S. Eliot would actually refer to him as Brer Rabbit, and then they would have.
This is blowing up my entire childhood.
It's really weird. It's really weird, especially because apparently, they would enjoy just kind of making. In their casual conversation with each other, just like playfully slipping into like African American English, as a lark.
Huh.
So as I mentioned, you have the Dadaists who are on the far left of things. Eliot and Pound, especially Pound, are very much the more conservative of the modernists. Eliot himself referred to himself as a royalist, who is a branch of nationalism. It specifically supports a particular monarch. I don't know what fucking one. I didn't care to look that up. But Pound is really the one who went really far off the deep end, because he literally moved to Italy and became a fascist, openly propping up and supporting Benito Mussolini.
He did radio shows.
He did radio shows to support Mussolini. That's a real fucking thing that Ezra Pound did.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I did not expect this podcast to go to Nazis.
Yeah. Lo and behold.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Popping out of snow like daisies.
6 degrees of fascism?
Oh, I hate it.
Oh,
It's
God.
like 3 degrees these days.
Where does Kevin Bacon fall into the middle of that?
God,
Don't ruin my childhood singing.
I would be crushed if I found out that Kevin Bacon was a fascist.
I'd be so upset. God.
Tremors exists outside of political ideology. That is where I will live and die.
That is your hill.
Oh, God. The second show in a row we've mentioned Tremors.
Yeah, right?
So before I go any further, I wanted to take a second to share the first piece from Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. Obviously, these evolved a bit over time. As I said, they were initially told to his godchildren and his acquaintances' children. Oftentimes sent as in the form of letters on official Faber and Faber letterhead, which I thought was kind of weird. Like, there are collections that have those, and like you can view them online. It's kind of strange, but whatever. So this is T.S. Eliot's The Naming of Cats. The naming of cats is a difficult matter. It isn't just one of your holiday games. You may think at first I'm mad as a hatter when I tell you a cat must have 3 different names. First of all, there's the name that the family use daily, such as Peter, Augustus, Alonzo, or James, just as Victor or Jonathan, George or Bill Bailey, all of them sensible, everyday names. There are fancier names if you think they sound sweeter, for some for the gentlemen and some for the dames, such as Plato, Admetus, Electra, and Demeter, but all of them sensible, everyday names. But I tell you, a cat needs a name that's particular, a name that's peculiar and more dignified. Else how can he keep up his tail perpendicular, or spread his whiskers, or cherish his pride? Those things you need a fucking name to do!
I think you said one of the cats' names was Metis?
Demeter.
Demeter.
Metis?
Admetus, but...
You're going to add a Metis?
Then cut it off. Digitally from Jason.
Oh, yeah, gotta remove that.
Of names of this kind, I can give you a quorum, such as Munkustrap, Quaxo, or Coracopat, or Bombalurina, or else Jellylorum, names that never belong to more than one cat. But above and beyond, there's still one name left over. The name that no human research can discover. But the cat himself knows, and will never confess. When you notice a cat in profound meditation, the reason I tell you is always the same. His mind is engaged in a rapt contemplation of the thought of his name, the ineffable, the ineffable, deep and inscrutable singular name.
Hail Satan!
And that's the naming of cats.
And you'll note, 70% of that came straight into the show.
Yeah.
However,
so they're eldritch
Quetzalcoatl
horrors.
did not.
They're absolutely eldritch horrors.
I'm also noticing a really close alignment of children's media and drug fever dreams that I thought existed because of the 60s and 70s, but predates it by a long fucking
It's absolutely astounding. So
drugs were not involved in the writing of these.
Oh, I have no idea. He maybe. I don't know. I don't know his drug use habits. So the other thing that
cocaine coming back around,
right? like ballet.
So the other thing that's really important to note about T.S. Eliot is he was married. In fact, he was married twice. His first wife had a laundry list of health problems and mental issues, and eventually was committed to an asylum where she died. Unfortunately, it's very sad. Later in life, T.S. Eliot then married his secretary, who was less than half his age. He was 65 and she was 30. Her name was Valerie, or she went by Valerie. And she is the one who eventually came to give her the blessing of the Eliot estate to Andrew Lloyd Webber. So there have been several offers at several points to do an adaptation of Cats, and aside from the Amblin one that was going to happen before the animation studio went under, they had turned away several, apparently, because they were afraid that it would be too childish. You know,
I see.
The book of poems about cats for children might be too childish.
I see.
So, anyway, Andrew Lloyd Webber suggests to Valerie that they do something a little bit more adult, a little more risque, a little more something along the lines of hot gossip.
Hot gossip.
You can just Google hot gossip or YouTube hot gossip, and it's a band, yeah. So you'll see. And apparently her response to that was, "Oh, Tom would have liked that very much." So here we are.
Well, that was the thing you said.
What happened? I blacked out.
You're better for it.
Okay.
I don't know that makes it clear how we got here, but
no. And I think, given, I mean, one of the largest notes that were given not only about this movie and about the stage show, but also about the original book, is that there's no narrative thread.
Right.
This is just a collection of random stuff that he found fun and interesting about cats, and like T.S. Eliot did love cats as well. A lot of these cat names were names he actually gave his cats. What the fuck was the one? Metis. Yeah, he's directly named one of his cats after a pee hole. Yes. Right. No, Jelly Lorum specifically. Okay. I know for a fact was one of his cats. But he had many over the years. So, yeah.
I'm excited to move on to this palate cleanser.
One thing should tie in, though, that does go across. Eliot's widow would have had tie-in to approving any film version.
Would have,
but she's dead.
She's dead now.
She died in 2012, so she did not. Yeah, she did not live to see this.
Other options for making it a film earlier, she could have KO'd.
Yes,
that's why only the Amblin happened, and then why there was such a long development hell.
So was she the reason we didn't get an Amblin version?
No, that was money. She was okay with them, but that's why there were multiple approaches to other studios at different times to do it. They would get shot down.
Because one of the things I would say would make this movie better is if it was not made now. Like if it was made closer to when the stage show came out, but if she was nixing them, then that makes more sense. Great, let's talk about furries.
Yeah. So actually we're going to talk about furries and porn, and they are actually kind of two separate universes. I was surprised to find, because I'm not in the community, and it showed in my research. So I decided to look up the furry reaction and the sort of Rule 34 surrounding cats, because to preface this, as we were watching the movie, I noticed that there's a really weird horny energy to the whole thing.
TM.
Horny energy, TM. And so, I mean, Rob, for the original stage version, was there also just like big horny energy in the whole thing? No.
It has its moments, but they upped the horniness by a factor of 20 for this.
I feel like if there was any horniness, it was just because it's skin tight leotards. But not all the cats were.
But Rum Tum Tugger is still a fucker.
Right. Fuck boy.
And McCavity has a large amount of thrusting to do.
Yeah.
But
there in the Lindsay Ellis video that I shared with everybody, there are some moments where they focus in pretty hard on some thrusting that takes place. But yeah, that's very limited to my understanding.
Yeah.
So for this version, the thing that made me think to look this up is the fact that as opposed to a skin tight leotard, CGing fur over a morph suit just looks even more like, oh, these are just naked furry people. And then a lot of them are doing ballet and rolling over top of each other as previously mentioned with the sibling threesome song. The unfortunate situation there. So I sort of dove into these two dual worlds of the furry reaction to the film when it was coming out and the Rule 34 that exists on the internet as a result. as far as the furry reaction goes, I looked mostly at Reddit and Fur Affinity. Specifically the furry subreddit and then the forum of Fur Affinity.
What is Fur Affinity?
Fur Affinity it's a furry forum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just like a furry community site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them had like pretty much the only reaction to the movie as it was coming out was that the Uncanny Valley was really horrifying. And that they fucking hate James Corden. It was this over and over and over again in various threads. Saw a couple of choice quotes pulled from the furry subreddit. I'd rather watch the Sonic movie than that animation.
Hell yeah.
And from Fur Affinity, we keep consuming movies like this. This is our fault. We made this profitable. We made this hell for ourselves. Now we must revel in it. Learn to enjoy the pain.
Oh my god.
So the reaction from the furry community was negative. Decidedly negative.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I dove into specifically, there are a couple of like specific Rule 34 image board websites. So I dove into those. It was a strange trip. Mostly because, so there are some drawings based on the original costumes, and I assume these were drawn closer to the original time, like erotica drawn in the 80s and 90s. Lots of Rum Tum Tugger with a giant cock.
No, it's just Jason Derulo.
Time-traveling Jason Derulo.
His time-traveling cock.
For the newer stuff, there was one artist that did... So there were two sort of big porn universes for this. One was one artist on their own. It was very human shape, but with a cat number of nipples, specifically. But it seems like the reaction to these drawings was pretty muted. There wasn't a lot of... So for these image boards, there's usually a like button that consists of "I came to this," and there wasn't a lot on this particular set of drawings.
He's drawing for the passion of it, not for the
not for the coons.
not for the coops.
Yeah. So the not a lot of comments, not a lot of cooms. This artist also did like other areas focused mostly on cats. With the proper number of nipples, but also like there's one of like no face eating a person, like
what
flesh consumption. This artist was into some pretty weird stuff. Some Guro stuff.
Yeah.
Define Guro for me.
Oh yeah, Guro. Gore porn.
It's
Gory porn?
Okay. Yeah.
Specifically, like like visceral and bloody, and it involves a lot of consumption and eating of parts.
No kink shame out there, but I'm good.
Sure. One aspect that did get a lot of buzz on these image boards was the T-Swift fakes of her as Bomblerina, which I think arguably is darker than the Guro shit because it gets into the like celebrity fakes that have been around since Photoshop was a thing.
Yeah.
Because there's considerably less consent involved in this.
Right.
So that was pretty much the only other area of focus, and there was a ton of buzz around those. But I think that had more to do with T-Swift than it did cats.
Yeah.
So overall, the furry and porn stuff didn't really come together despite the big horny energy of the movie. I think the fever dream was just too much. Like, nobody wanted it.
I didn't feel bad about having you on this episode and making you watch cats. And then I listened to you talk about what you had to see with your own eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
It's all right. I got a quiz question right at the beginning of the episode, so
it's true.
I belong here.
You did prove that demonstrably through our very scientific vetting process.
Oh God! I while researching my stuff, I was looking for people's reaction to the musicals, the original stage show, and one person was like, "I'm not gonna lie, watching." They had like the stage show on VHS growing up, and the kid they just like watch over and over and over and over again, like kids do. And like the part with Rum Tum Tugger is just worn out, and They definitely woke something in me, and then there's just silence. So not the movie necessarily, but I would be amazed if like no one had their furry awoken by the
That's
stage
the
show.
thing. I think the stage show stays away from the uncanny. Like if we're talking about like stuff that like so furry is like there's a porn aspect to it, and then there's just like a like non-horny fandom associated. Like there are two universes that have a lot of overlap but exist separately. And for the stage show, I feel like that stays far away enough from the Uncanny Valley that it's not as horrifying to the people that like furry shit.
Right.
Yeah. Where the new movie is right there with like the Christmas train movie that I'm forgetting.
Polar
Express. It's right there with Polar Express.
Real deep in the Uncanny Valley.
Where like nobody wanted it.
This was far more educational than I expected.
You're welcome.
I'm happy about that.
Well, something along the line of what you're talking about, and did not dawn on me until you were discussing that, is one of the differences is the mocap suits for the movie are then used to accentuate the crotchal areas, like to show more and more movement there. The tights on Broadway and in the West End, I mean, it's a dance belt, and the costumes are designed to sort of hide the
Can
genital
you
area.
explain to
So they're
the
polar
general pop?
opposite.
Yeah,
Can you explain dance belt to the general populace?
a torturous rubber band to keep your junk in place.
Thank
To
you.
keep you from not harming yourself, but also to avoid VPN on stage.
Yes.
Now I need a word. VPN?
Oh, sorry, VPL.
I don't know what that is either.
Visible penis line. It's a modeling term.
So Jason Derulo, Jason Derulo, VPL.
Yes.
Those are
VV.
God damn it.
Actually, this is so. I feel like this is the proper time for me to ask because you mentioned there are certain communities that fucking notice Jason Derulo.
Oh, yeah, it was like the topic on every gay message board in the
Right.
country.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if like the conversation went beyond like, whoa, dick, or if that was it.
No, it was that, but it was because he was the one who like broke the rumor. Like like I said, he did a Photoshop of him in a towel with VPL and posted like, so they had to do some digital altering.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy toot your own horn, dude. Like, now I'm starting to think maybe that's Photoshop too. 'Cause-
So it wasn't even thirst posting on these message boards. It was like, get over yourself, Jason Derulo.
no, there was
Okay.
a lot of thirsting.
So both.
There was also a lot of like, really, dude.
Now part of me wants to believe that he's secretly been photoshopping his own VPL this entire time,
Possible. I don't know.
and that he did and that the Photoshop work that had to be done by the visual effects team, he actually went in to assist with because he's been doing it for so long that he knows exactly what to do it right.
He was the secret consultant.
There it is.
What has he done other than Cats?
He's a singer.
He's a singer.
Okay.
He's a pop singer.
Okay. Because his song, I'm like, oh, you actually
Singer.
like sounds good.
To be fair, Cats has never, ever, ever, ever been known for like the quality of the vocal.
Right. Vince, thanks for being a pervert.
Anytime.
Would you like to plug anything? Where people can see you? Maybe mention your novel that will come out someday. And
I'd like to keep my novel identity and myself separate.
Fair.
so I'll tell them later.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
So this is Vince. He's a pervert. Nothing more. You can find me as dollboy_Jack on all the socials. Joe?
You can find me at JM Nealis on Instagram, where I sometimes share some art stuff. You can find the show now at DeRazzled Pod on Twitter, now that we have that active. Also, DeRazzled Podcast on Instagram and the Facebooks.
If you can subscribe or like or comment, all those things, we're slowly building an audience, and that really helps.
Real quick, Rob, do you have anything you want to plug?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
You got any shows coming up?
I am doing Pirates of Penzance in the spring. So
Excellent. What theater are you with again?
currently I am the vice president of the Pittsburgh Savoy Yards.
Beautiful. Okay.
I didn't hear that. Can you say it again?
I work for the Pittsburgh Savoy Yards, the only operetta company in Pittsburgh and the oldest operating theater company in the city.
Beautiful.
All All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you in episode 2 of Cats.
Real quick, I want to say real fast. Just thank you all for everything that you've been doing in terms of like listening and subscribing and reviewing and whatnot. Please keep doing that. Please please leave reviews on Apple Podcasts so that we get further up in those search results, on Podchaser, on Good Pods, on all of that. Like, find us, leave us 5 stars, leave comments about what you like about what you're hearing. Our first episode, Wild Wild West, broke 100 listens just before Thanksgiving, and
don't forget to mention that our recent episode on Batman and Cunnilingus bolted up to almost 100.
It's at 95 listens the last time I looked. It's our 3rd highest listened episode, and it's been out for 2 weeks.
Like, you guys are all perverts.
I love all
in the
of
best
you.
way.
In the best way.
Yes.
Given my research aspect, I'm listening to that immediately.
So 97 by the end of the night.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic. See yins all next week.
And we will be sure to, as always,
Razzle dazzle ya.
Yeah, we will.